what it amounts to is, what if you're doing something and the public is not getting the full benefit of whatever it is you're doing, display or speaking or anything you're doing? The public has a right to come to the microphone and say, since they have a right to see this, say, we cannot see that, please change it, do something about it. And you've got to do it. Because what you're doing, if they cannot see it, is you're robbing them of an opportunity to witness how you're spending their money, and you don't have a right to do that. You have to give them an opportunity. So you got to change it. You have to change it. You as a board. Yes, sir. Without a motion, by the way, without a motion. Sir, please.
Well, my other question was...
Yeah, oh, I'm so sorry. You did say two. I remember. Why didn't you correct me? You were right there. You heard him say it. I saw you when he said it. Please go ahead.
When it comes to the public comment, can that be point of order? Like someone from the public saying a comment?
Oh, and the public have a point of order? Is that what you're saying?
Can the public say, when someone's making public comment, can that be point of order?
Okay, question is, we have the public speaking. Can anyone, either the public, or let me expand it. Can the public or the board members call point of order? No, because the public is talking. You cannot impose parliamentary procedure laws on them because they are not members. You can only impose parliamentary procedure ideas on people who are members, especially voting members. But I got to say more about that when we get to it later. Yes, please go ahead, sir, please. Now, that's different. What if the public is talking about something? You're dealing with community college, and this person shows up and wants to talk about the fact that we need something at 7-Eleven. You know, we need 25 policemen because of the last shooting. But there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? Call in a 911? Well, you can't do anything. So all you can say is go to the city. Go to them. So all you can tell them is interrupt them. We agree with you, but there's nothing we can do. Could you please help us? Go to the police station and ask them to do it. So see, you're not saying point of order. You're not shutting them out. You're just reminding them. Whining to us is no good. Let me get to him. His hand was up first, even though he doesn't show any action at all in his brows. I can't read him. Please go ahead, sir.
I know you said that I get paid by the members of the public, or I deal with their money.
Yes.
I don't, so
You don't?
no.
Are you in this college? In this college?
Yeah.
Where does the money come from?
Cerritos College?
Yeah.
I deal with money.
No, you do. You take classes that come to you that you are able to take, even though you pay for them. The city pays for the building, pays for the water, pays for this, pays for that. They're the ones who put in money to help the college survive in one way or another. They may go through the state and then the district and then the college, but it's the taxes that pay for the college. In addition to the high price they charge you for those books, you know, that's ridiculous. But in addition to all of that, they have a fraction, and that's the way they see it. That's why we're under the Brown Act. If not, we would not be under the Brown Act. Everything related to a county government, everything related to a city government, everything related to agencies of this nature, if you accept tax money, you have to let them in. And it's very hard to prove that you don't accept tax money. You were going to add something.
When it comes to members of the public, if we're saying we're in the middle of debating something, and we do want a member of the public after we give the 2 or 3 senators
Yeah.
still standing there, and they're the ones that say they start going off topic or they start speaking as far as the like verbal attacks or anything like
Okay.
that. I can't point forward that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You said several things I want to cover. Okay, pay attention. I'm going to come back to you. See, I forgot something. But you cannot point of order them. That's not a verb, but accept it. I know we're in college. We shouldn't say that, but it's not. However, if they start talking about something, and you're in the middle of a motion, so that they want to talk about the motion, and they get off topic on the motion, then you can say, please, you had an opportunity to speak about that at the opening. You, by the way, you do something different. Most colleges don't do this. You have another public, no, you don't. But at yours it says right before the vote. You have another one. It says right before the vote, you may be able to speak. It's in your agenda. So you're adding another opportunity. You're saying right before the vote. But anyway, if they start talking about a topic that you are not in the process of as a motion, you can ask and tell them, please, that comment needed to come at the beginning. Can you please wait till the end and we'll listen to you. But right now we need to deal with this. So you finish this. Now, if they want to talk about this subject, you've got to listen to them. But they're off this subject, then it's wrong. If it's at the beginning of the public forum, and there is no motion, so they talk about anything, as long as it's within your subject matter jurisdiction, then you're stuck. And you're stuck. You have to listen. Oh, yes, please, sir. No, not last.
If I'm a part of a different branch and I go to Senate's meeting, I'm a member of the public, correct?
If you're a member of,
I'm a part of court, if I go to a Senate meeting, I'm a member of the public.
exactly, good point. I forgot that. Just a minute, let me tell them what you said. If we have a meeting of the Senate, anyone who doesn't have power to vote in the Senate is the public. It constitutes the public. Even if you're a student, you're still the public. If you belong to another committee that is outside the Senate, say you're ICC, you're not part of the Senate. You come up to the Senate meeting, you are part of the public, and you must be respected as part of the public. Not because you're a student, but because you are part of the public. Sir? Yes? You cannot do that, no. You cannot make motions on the public. Don't go away, okay? Sir? Oh, that was the other thing she mentioned that I want to get to. Just a minute. I want to send you to one of my pages, and it's on page, is it 21 or 20? 21, 20, page 20, please, page 20. I have synopsis of the Brown Act. The Brown Act is about 30 pages. About only 10 or 12 relate to you. But this one section relates to what you said and what the lady in the back had said, and I didn't finish answering her comment about people saying something nasty. Page 20, look at number 6, public speaking prohibitions. The board may not prohibit the public from arguing about criticizing policies. The public can tear your policies to pieces. They can tear your procedures, your programs, your services, or your omission of services. They can call them anything they want to. They just cannot do the same thing with you as an individual. Now look at the next sentence. The Brown Act does not confer any privilege or protection for expression beyond that which the law already allows. So you should be thinking of that as the freedom of speech. Well, there is no freedom of speech when it comes to the public and the board, even though people tell you differently. And all I'm doing is reading the document, and it says you don't have to put up with that because people have no right to insult you or attack you. You need to put a stop to it and prohibit it. If you have any doubts, you should have this citation distributed in all the seats where people are going to sit down, and make sure they have it in front of them. This section that I have, 20 and 21, I went through the entire document, picked out everything that was relevant to you. And I am not an attorney, and that's a state law. I'm not an attorney, so I cannot tell you what to do. But what I can tell you is, if you have a question, read that section and you tell me what it says. And it goes on 2 pages, section by section, and I give you the citation to the right of it. All you got to do is Google and write in a government code and put in that number, and you'll get that section, and you can see it for yourself. All I did was cut and paste, maybe took out a few words for simplicity. Okay, any comments on that? Okay. I was taking a lot of time for this section, but I only had 2 more to do on this section, and we'll move on. Number 6, you don't have a right to complain. When you go to a meeting, you don't go there to complain. There's nothing productive about a complaint. You don't go there for that. You go there so you can make a motion, so you can amend it, so you can sway the vote. You can postpone it and work on it. You can refer it and work on it. You can do whatever to the motion, but you've got to do something to the motion. If you go there and complain and don't do something to the motion, you need to be quiet. Nobody wants to put up with your whining. If you got members who do that, the chair has got to quickly tell someone, do you have a motion when they're complaining? If they're complaining, they should be able to amend it. If they're complaining, they should be able to refer it or commit it. They should be able to postpone it. They should be able to do something, but not complain. It doesn't do anybody any good. It's wasted time. If you're the chair, put a stop to it. Any comments on that? I know you've never seen this, so it's surprise, surprise, surprise. Number 7. Yes, please, sir. Oh, yes, that's right. I was going to talk to you earlier. Yes, sir. It happens to me all the time. But I got an excuse. What's your? No, go ahead.
Yeah, so what exactly do you mean by complaint?
Okay, let's say we have a motion. The motion is to buy 3 computers. You don't want computers, you want typewriters. And you complain, I don't know this stuff, and I don't this, and I hate these, and that has never worked, and you go on and on and on. You're just complaining instead of saying something about the motion. The motion was to buy computers. You don't want that, so you're complaining by whining about something, and you're just off very upset about it. Now, if you don't like his motion about 3 computers, amend it, or postpone it, or refer it. But you can't just be negative. You can't just be negative about something. So negativism is not productive. I'm not convincing you, I can tell. I'm not convincing you. Okay, give me a motion that you heard lately in one of your meetings. Can you remember one? Any motion. Fake it. I'm not there, so I won't know. I'll believe you. Somebody give me a motion. Somebody. A motion. You've been to meetings? You've heard motion?
I move to approve the purchase of that red chair.
Okay. So he says move to approve the purchase of the chair. But you know, oh, there it is. But you know that's broken. Yeah, and you know it's stinking. They had a cat there. It was awful. You get very upset about it. I mean, you don't want anyone to approve it. So you start arguing about it and start complaining, and you want this and you want that, and why should we having this? Why should we have? You just go off the rocker. You just go off. See, so you're whining, you're complaining. Well, all he wanted to do was buy the chair. If you don't like his idea, amend it and say, no, we'll buy that other chair. That should be your approach, your productive approach, rather than a negative approach that just attacks something. So it's hard to do, but when you're in a meeting, you look for this and you stop it. You don't go any further. The last thing I was going to cover on this page, yes, ma'am. Yes, please. That's fine. Yes. 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 Yeah, in where? Yes, but in your own Senate? No. Thank you so much. Let me tell you about this one. This is common. It's embarrassing. Let's say these folks are all senators in a Senate meeting, okay? And one of them remembers, oh, I want to give an announcement about my club, or I want to give an announcement of a play that's going on, and they decide, as the public, I want to give an announcement. No, you can't. You're a senator. You're not the public. You're taking up public forum time. It's their time. You're chewing it up. You want someone to say it, bring somebody from the public, or get someone who's not a member. But you don't have a right to speak as a senator during the public forum time. Let me say that again. If you're a senator at a Senate meeting, you don't have the right to speak during public forum time. Your agenda should have a section for senator announcements. And wait till then. And it should be at the very end. If we have time, we'll get to it. If not, we don't get to it. But you don't take up public time. This happens in every single college I've been to. Sir, I'll be right with you. Yes, sir.
So when it comes to, because I hear in our Senate meetings, a lot of people make announcements and reports.
Uh-huh.
So would you recommend that they won't do it? Like,
Okay. In relation to when a senator can make an announcement, if you're part of it, you're a commissioner, and you're making a report on something, and there's an announcement related to that topic, yes, you can do it because it's your domain. But you can't just say, I want public time, give it to me, I want to talk to you about buying kittens or something. No. You were going to say, oh, sorry, no more? You want him to speak? You have a question, please. He gave up. Oh, same question? Well, I haven't spoken with him. Yes, sir, please tell me. Who? Okay, well, let me, yeah, you think you know what he meant?
My clerk. So it's the idea of when we get our reports, like a senator report,
Uh-huh.
commissioner report, a committee report.
Yes.
It's not in our bylaws what they have to send me. If they have to send me anything.
Okay, good point. If your bylaws don't require it, which is very strange, I mean, why would you have people making reports if you don't have them turn in a report? You just want them to gossip? How are you going to cite them and hold them responsible for what they said if it's not in writing? You're in college. You got to go by the written word. So you should have some, even though it's not mandatory. I'll take it back. But you really should have it in writing. That way people can go back and we have a history and document what happened, what has happened on that topic. If not, we won't remember. Next year people forget and they start doing it all over again. And yes, please.
If it's not in our bylaws or constitution currently, can the chair require it? Then it'll send me a report.
Okay, question was, if it's not in the bylaws, going to be required? You should adopt a motion that says reports must be submitted in writing. Every college that I work with has them in writing. It's a lot of work, but it's really the only way you can document it. Yes, please, sir.
So, I have a question about the minutes. If somebody is altering the minutes besides the clerk, they allow to do that?
Okay. Altering of the minutes, who's got the right? Only the Senate. Let's say we have a meeting and we adopt the minutes today. 3 minutes later, 3 days later, 3 weeks later, 3 months later, we discover there's an error. Someone says, I move to amend the minutes. And you say what you want to amend. Now it takes a 2/3 vote, and it's done. But everyone has to agree. And the way to agree with is, if there is no objection, the minutes will be corrected. Was that for me? Is my time up? No, please. Uh-huh. If, and the clerk knows what? That they... Oh, yes, okay. Uh-huh. Okay, what if one senator asks the clerk to remove something? It's not up to the one individual. It's the entire Senate. He has or she has to bring it to the meeting and tell everyone, I want this to be fixed or corrected. They just don't twist your arm and get you to change it. No, they can't do that. It's got to be everyone's approval. And then all it takes is the 5 words. If there's no objection, the minutes will be amended. Sir? All the person has to do is stand up and say, there's an error in our minutes. But again, here's the problem. It can only be done during the minutes section. You can't do it just anywhere else because now it wasn't announced in the Brown Act. But as long as you're in the section on minutes, fine. You can say, 3 weeks ago, we had an error in the minutes. And this is what it should be. I move that we amend them. The chair will look at it and look around, and people are going, yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right. Chair says, okay, if there's no objection, they're amended. Let me go back to him, and I'll come right back to you. Sir? Okay, you said a lot there. You said a lot. First of all, I don't know where you got the idea that you can have executive sessions. No, it's wrong. The Brown Act does not allow you to expel the public. Unless you're going to expel everyone and leave the public in there during the executive session, doesn't make sense. The Brown Act has 17 situations, and I listed them. I'll go back to the page. I said 21. Where is it? Is it on 21? These are good questions. That's why I'd rather answer your questions and play with my wording. Here it is, page 21. Look at number 10. Look at number 10, page 21. Closed sessions are prohibited by the Brown Act. That's an executive session. Except for 17 situations related to real estate. Were you planning on selling property? No. Labor negotiations. Was a union coming down your bed? No. Litigation. Are you suing somebody? No. Liability claims. Did somebody break their leg and it's your fault? Employee. You don't have employees. We established that because I think these two situations may not qualify. You'll have to look into it. Trade secrets. Do you have any secrets, something you're selling? No. Attorney-client privilege are not considered protected from the Brown Act. You don't have such a thing as attorney-client privilege, unless it's to talk about those 17 issues. So the executive sessions you've had, not good. I saw that in your No, you did have one, not you, but in the minutes that I got, there was one section where it says executive session, and you cannot have executive session unless it's one of those reasons.
So for the part right here where it says discipline, would that include impeachment?
Yes, that could be. Yeah, that's a. But see, you'll need to read that again. But as I remember reading it, this only relates to employees, not officers. Employees, and you don't have an employee you can remove under a closed session. So if you want to reprimand one of your members, it has to be on the open session. I forgot, she was next. May I inquire?
The one is when it had to do with the motion to amend how he was talking about what the clerk knows that
Uh-huh.
happened. Is that a debatable motion? So if they say, I did not see that.
Yes, it is debatable. Yes, it is debatable.
The second one would be, though they're not employees, when they're a senator, there might be disciplinary action, and we want to be confidential in case the case goes to court and they did not do those things.
Then you have no power to do anything because you cannot do. Her question was, what if they're not employees, they're officers or senators? We want to discipline them with a closed session. The Brown Act doesn't allow you. If you were on the just Robert's rules, yes. But you can look at that section, go back and read that section on and they're only referring to employees that you pay money to, not to officers. So you cannot do it in secrecy. You can cover some of these other items it says, but not discipline. Again, I'm not saying anything. I'm telling you where to read the section. I gave you the citation. So please read that. But you were saying something, sir.
No, I was just wanting to expand on what you're saying.
Brown Act doesn't care. The Brown Act says you're going to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever, you better not do it, but it's got to be in the open. It's got to be in the open because they demand to witness how you use their money. Please. That's a good point. That's a good point. And this one, again, we're going to have to go to Amber to find out if she can do some research and tell you this. But chances are that the two do not overlap. Chances are they do not overlap. And if they do, then our hands are tied. You'll have to go to an attorney. We don't. You shouldn't handle it. And don't let her handle it either. This is just over our heads. Let an attorney take care of it. But chances are most of the state laws do not overlap. The California Public Records does not overlap with Brown. Brown does not overlap with Corporation Code. They don't overlap. Thank goodness. Any other comments? You have very good questions. Better than my material. I should have asked ahead. Number 7. No one has a right to speak a second time if someone who has not spoken the first time is seeking to speak the first time. So let's say he speaks one time, and then other people speak, and he wants to speak again. But the lady back there hasn't spoken yet. She wants to speak the first time, her first time. And he wants to speak again, but it's going to be his second. The chair has to be strong enough to say, just a second, we have other people who have not spoken. Please go ahead. That way, everyone has an equal chance. If not, you get people to monopolize your meeting. And that's a good sign of something going wrong in your meetings when you have somebody monopolizing. Any comments? The rest you can read. Yes, please.
For willful interruptions, how it says any meeting that is willfully interrupted so to render the order of conduct of the meeting unfeasible, and the removal of the problem will not do it. The board may order the room cleared and continue the meeting, so then it's to public.
That's referring to the public. Please say the number, because I want to make sure they know what you were reading.
21, number 12.
Yes. I have seen this happen a couple of times when the public comes in and they just get out of control, and everyone has to be thrown out, including the press. And then you bring in the press that was not at fault, and you start bringing in people that were not at fault, little by little, and then continue the meeting. But you don't have any obligation to put up with when it gets out of control and you can't do anything and people are in danger. You don't have any obligation. Yes, please. Listen. Yes? Yes. You see this often. Okay, the question is, how is long reading too long? Well, if someone stands up and has to take 3 breaths with a paper in front of them, it's a long paper. If they're just blah, 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 that's too long. Sit down. If you've got a report, you should be able to say it in 3 or 4 sentences. If you can't say it in 3 or 4 sentences, prepare a handout and give it to everyone. Let them read it slowly before the meeting. But you cannot take time to filibuster. That's what it's called. You don't have a right to filibuster a meeting. And that's what they do. Any comments? I'm going to go ahead. Yes, please, ma'am. Can you do what with them? Oh, good point. What if you can tell someone is reading just to take up time and prevent the continuation of our whatever it is we're doing? Someone should say, point of order. If nothing else, you can say, debate time has expired for the individual. Now, here's something that you may not agree with, but Robert says how many minutes you have every time you speak in debate, and Robert tells you you can speak twice in debate on the same topic on the same day. Twice, same topic, same day. How many minutes do you think it is? It is 10 minutes. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's why every single organization in their bylaws, in their standing rules, in their something, always tells you debate is limited to 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Because anytime you have bylaws, you can supersede Robert. Anytime. Anytime you have a constitution, that can supersede Robert. It's only when you leave it out of your bylaws, leave it out of your constitution, now Robert steps in and Roberts is the law. So that's why you always have to put in a debate limit, because if not, they've got 10 minutes. If you have a filibuster and you know they can only speak for 2 minutes, you got fed up with them and tell them, okay, it's 2 minutes, even though it may not be. No one's timing them. No one will know. So you just say, point of order, exceeded time limit. And the chair will be so happy someone did something and said, thank you very much, next, and move right along. Yes, ma'am? Debate is identical to discussion, yes. Debate is identical to, yes, please continue, ma'am. That's right. Question was, what about the public? Remember that in the public forum, you have the limit. It says 3 minutes per person. You can stop them. Or you say 10 minutes for topic, you can stop them. If you don't tell them ahead of time, you cannot stop them. That's why I was pointing out in your agenda, it doesn't say how long for the topic. It only says how long for each person. They can just keep taking turns all night long and never get off it. Yes, please, sir.
So if the agenda says that if you specify 10 minutes for a topic, then the senator can extend time.
Good point, good point. Whatever you write, okay, first of all, there's Robert says 10 minutes per person twice on a subject and on that day. You change it on your bylaws and you say 2 minutes. So the agenda comes up and it says 2 minutes per. And you get to discussing it and everybody still wants to talk some more. Any senator can say, I move, we extend time by 5 minutes. And the chair shouldn't even waste time. The chair should automatically say, if there's no objection, we will extend time 5 minutes. Don't waste time talking about whether you should talk or not. Don't waste time talking about whether you should talk or not. Just vote. If people don't want to do it, they'll vote it down. That's the end of that. Any comments on that? Good. You mean as in adjournment time? What if time expires on the topic? Tough. You can still say, I move to extend time, debate time by 5 minutes, and you can keep right on going because it's obvious that topic is more important than the rest. And everyone's going to get to vote or accept if there's no objection and not object because they think, yes, this topic is more important than the rest. We're not going to let some magic number on the agenda keep us from handling this important issue. Yes, please, sir. Okay, the question, yeah, you had that somewhere. Someone said that you were going to vote and somebody objected. Who cares? The only way you can object is by voting. So you don't need to write it in the motions, in the agenda or the minutes that somebody objected. What relates to what you said is the following. If there is no objection and no one objects, the motion is adopted. But let me try it again now. I changed it. If there is no objection and she says, I object, what she's saying is, don't adopt the motion with the 5 steps. Use the 6 mandatory steps in Robert. And these are on the next page, page 5. Robert has 6 mandatory steps. Ideally, you can get away with the 5 words and say, if there's no objection, the motion is adopted. Someone says, I object. Well, now you got to follow the steps. And the steps are, and they're very straightforward. Number 5, page 5. The first one is someone has to say, I move, and tell us what they move. Second, somebody yells. Without being recognized, they yell, second, and that person's name does not go in the minutes. It does not go in the minutes. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. He could make a motion, and he hates the motion so much. He wants to make sure we debate his motion so he can tear it to pieces and trample all over it and make sure he never brings it up again the entire life. So he'll say, second! But all he wants to do is hurt. Second, nobody cares. It doesn't make a difference. Here's another situation. Let's say you make a motion, and I just stare at everyone waiting to see if there's a second, and there is no second. But you ask to be recognized to speak, and I recognize you, and you start speaking about the motion. Too late to wait for a second. Second means let us discuss it. What did she do? She said, let us discuss it. So she has just seconded by talking about it. If someone comes up with a motion you hate, keep quiet. Don't say anything. If you start arguing about it, you have just seconded it. You seconded it, and now we're going to talk about it. So don't. If you don't like it, leave it alone. Leave it alone. And the chair will say, lack of a second, we're moving on. Lack of a second, whatever, but it just moved on. And please, don't let your chair do the following. Let's say, I'm the chair. He makes a motion, and I say, okay, I'm waiting for a second. Somebody, please, I beg you, please, somebody, I need a second. And somebody does, to please me. Nobody else wanted to talk about it. The only reason it was that people are going to talk about it is because I begged for a second, and he felt sorry for me, and went ahead and asked me, and gave me a second. No, if you say, I'm the chair, you make a motion, and I stare, 1, 2, 3 seconds. Okay, all you say is, no second, move on. That's it. You don't beg for one, you don't ask for one. If they don't give you, they're already telling you, we don't want to discuss it. Ignore him. And that's what you do. Okay, yes, please. Question is, can you say point of order? No, because he's doing the right thing. If he doesn't hear a second, he doesn't consider it. He, oh, if the chair, yes, you're right. If the chair is pushing for a second, you should say, point of order, you are begging for a second. We didn't have one. It is not proper for you to do that. And people shouldn't do that. They learn right away. They seem to think that I'm doing things right if I force everything through these 6 steps. No, let's go through the 6 steps. The first one is to make the motion. Second, somebody seconds it. Nobody writes down the name. Number 3, the chair has to state it. The chair has to take the motion and give it to the board by saying, it is moved and seconded that we buy 3 computers. Until the chair says, it is moved and seconded, you do not own it. The mover of the motion still owns it. But as soon as I give it to you, we can debate it. So I give it to you and say, it is moved and seconded. That's number 3. Number 4, immediately the chair says, are there any questions? Is there any debate? As soon as that happens, we start with debate, alternating all the debate protocol. Moving on, number 5. The chair notices that we're done, we're ready for a vote. Chair says, all those in favor indicate by doing such and such. All those opposed indicate by doing such and such. That's putting it to a vote. And finally, number 6, the chair announces the result. Putting it to a vote means you have to ask yes and no. What I see often is people say, all those in favor, and everyone raises their hand. And the chair says, well, that's unanimous. We don't have to take a no vote. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Members have a right to change their vote. Somebody may want to go on record as saying no, and they have a right to change their vote. So you have to ask for it anyway. So you ask for votes, both of them. When you get the vote and you want to announce it, you have to say, as a chair, you have to say, motion is adopted. You give the results, looking at the secretary, make sure you and the secretary are following along. Yes, please.
And here we go again.
Oh.
Beginning conversation. What does the chair have to say? Any abstention?
Okay. Yeah, good point, good point. I leave that out because, okay. The Brown Act requires it. You're right. You're totally right. Most of my clients are Roberts, and we never ask for abstain. Because if you got a way of making money out of this, you shouldn't be with us, you crook. What are you doing here? So it's serious. Abstain. Robert doesn't like them. Read up on it. It says, don't. Brown Act wants to know, how did everyone vote, including the crooks? How did they vote? So they'll say, I abstain, I'm getting $300. So you write it down, he abstains. But so you have to do it for Brown Act, not for Roberts. Please. No, just a second. Good second. Notice, this is very good. In reality, every one of you as a senator, every time you vote on something, you will benefit from it. You will, indirectly, because it will affect something related to your classes, to the something that's happening at school. It's going to benefit. That's indirect. Let's say that now you are the member of the club, and this is going to benefit your club. It doesn't benefit you, it benefits your club. You happen to be indirectly part of the club. But the money is not going to you, it's going to the club. And then by being a member, you benefit. But by being a member of the Senate, you benefit. All of you benefit indirectly. So being a representative of the club does not prevent you from voting in favor. Yes, please, sir.
As far as legislation goes,
Yes.
the way our forms got out is, does it have to be introduced by a senator or seconded by?
I don't remember what I read about that. I'm sorry. That is an internal rule. I would have to read it again. Frankly, it was not one of those things that kept me awake at night. So I forgot that. He had a stand up. I'll be right with you, sir. Yes. Can somebody change their vote? Definitely. Let me show you how. Okay. Let me show you how. Okay. I'm the chair. I'm taking the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. They all raise their hand. Watch her. Okay. Watch her. She raised her hand. Say, all those opposed. She raises her hand again. You cannot complain. She has just changed your vote. Perfectly all right. And I say, okay, the motion is adopted. Defeated. Who cares? Let me try something else now. I'm the chair. Come forward and say, all those in favor, watch her. Okay. She votes. All those opposed, she doesn't change her mind. I say, the motion has been adopted. And now she says, I want to change my vote. Too late. Notice, as soon as I announce the result, she cannot change her vote. Until I announce it, everyone can change their vote. Everyone. Actually, even if you do it in secret ballot, you can still change their vote. Even then. even though in Brown Act, secret ballots are open. You were going to say? Very good, very good. Question was, how do you do it a roll call? So we went through roll call, and she said at one time, when we went to her, and she said, aye. And when we finished, right before the chair announces, she raises her hand, says, Mr. Chair, I wish to change my vote. And you can do nothing but smile, because it's her right. You cannot change it. You cannot prevent her. And so she changes it. She says, I voted aye, and I'll say no. Secretary checks to make sure she's not saying aye twice. Yeah, she said aye, okay. She changes it, fine. But it's her right. You cannot prevent her from changing. That's why you always have to ask for the yes and the no's. Any other comments or anything? Oh, yes, we were going to talk to you.
Unless stated specifically in our Constitution, is there a specific way we have to vote when it comes to something like community ballot?
Okay, good point. This is a very difficult one because you've got so many sections of your bylaws, and you've got the bills and resolutions and accommodations and limitations, and I don't know, you got all these different things that nobody else has. Each one says something different about how to vote. So you'll have to see that because that's an internal process. The one thing you can always do, unless it doesn't say anything, you can always have roll call, time consuming. Also, if it doesn't say anything, you can move to have an open ballot. Let me explain how that works. Open ballot means all 30 of you write down the vote saying yes, and you write down your name. Yes and name. When you turn it in, the secretary or the presiding officer pulls out a ballot and says, what was your name, Karen? Okay. Karen said yes. What is your name? Armando says no. What is your name? Elias? Elliot? Elliot. Elliot said yes. See what I'm doing? I'm pointing out by name how each one voted. It's an open ballot. The only difference is that during the taking of the ballot, no one is looking at you, preventing you from going like this with a dirty look. It's a total secrecy. Yes, please, sir. Oh, I wasn't done. Don't go away. Or you could, if it doesn't say anything, you could do it by arm, raising your arm, or standing up. The one thing you cannot do, and my example shows it, my example shows to do voice vote. Don't do that. Under Brown Act, you can never do voice vote because you can never tell who said what. If it doesn't say it in your bylaws, you can move to do it in any of those ways. You can always move to do it any of those ways. You were saying?
I have a couple of questions. So we have elections coming up, and nowhere in the bylaws does it say that the Chief Justice can't campaign for a candidate.
Really? You don't have that? He says the Chief Justice is allowed to campaign? In other colleges, they're not. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay. Okay, I'll be right. Do you have a comment on what he said? Oh, okay, let me finish listening to him. So anything else on that? This is strange because usually the Chief Justice is supposed to be so neutral. He's supposed to stay out of it. And even if it doesn't say you can or can't, you need to look out for your reputation. So you just stay neutral. Anyone says something, I say, I didn't vote. Like, what are they going to say? You're fine. Was there another half to that one? Okay. Again, that's internal, and that's one of those parts that I didn't get into because it sounded all right. His point was he removed someone who was an associate judge for campaigning for someone. In other community colleges, what you have done is correct. If it's not in your bylaws, it should be. Because people have got to be able to turn to the judges and know that you're neutral. As soon as you start taking sides, you lost it. No one's going to believe you. You're in trouble. So just like the presiding officer. That's why we say presiding officer should not vote. Because we don't want to know her biases or his biases. We need to know neutrality from that person. You were going to add, please. Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to add, please.
Let's say, for example, there was a motion made to approve a senator, or something, or cabinet or something, and it gets approved and adopted, and then a senator decides, oh, you know what, I changed my mind now. I think we should revisit that issue.
Okay, good. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, his question is, we had approved, adopted, elected, selected, baptized, whatever, a new person to a position. How do we change our minds? Well, first of all, if you did it legally the first time, there's nothing you can do unless you go through your steps about removal. You can't just say, oh, I've got a good reason to do it over. No, you can't. If that person was elected, whatever, legally, the only way you can get rid of that person is through your removal process. You have a removal process. Okay. But if it's before the announcement is made, you can correct it. Say we make the vote, and then here in the middle of the voting, we realize there's a problem, but we haven't declared the election, then we go ahead and correct it. Only then. Were you going to add something? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Don't go away. Okay. Yes, continue.
It's vice versa, like in other words, the adopted not to approve it first.
The same thing.
Like maybe you should have put over.
No, again, don't go away. What if it's not to approve? Well, this is an election, so we cannot reconsider the vote on the election. That's on a vote. But his question was, what if we elect, he comes up for election and we say no. The appointment, whatever, okay. The issue is, whenever you vote negative, you have made no decision. If the motion is to buy 3 computers and you say no, your decision is we have no decision. Because you did not vote to buy 3 computers. You did not vote not to buy 3 computers either. What you voted was, we're not going to vote to buy them. That's all. So that means that the next week, bring it up again. Next week, bring it up again. So if someone doesn't get elected, he comes back up again. Because it was not a decision. See, you have to make a decision that says, we take a stand against this. That's not what you did. All you said was, we didn't elect him now. We can elect him tomorrow. But just a minute, I had a couple of hands over here. The young lady, I hadn't, yeah.
What if it was motion to strike that item from the agenda and that item wasn't appointed? Does that?
If the question is to strike it. Okay, so if the point is strike that item from the agenda and you vote to strike it, but then you realize, no, we really need to do it, you can bring it back in because you posted it. By when? On that same meeting,
So once that meeting is over, that no longer can be brought back?
No, you can, the limitation on the negative vote ends when the meeting ends. So if you vote not to buy 3 computers, next week you can make that motion again. If you voted to strike something, next week you can bring it back again. But because it was to take action under the Brown Act, as long as you post it, you can deal with it. The first thing you did was to strike it. You already posted that you were going to do it. Even though you struck it, you can bring it back up again. Because it's posted, you were going to work with it. So all those intermediate steps are irrelevant. So that could have been brought that same day. I'm not sure who was next. I'm sorry. You were going to add? Yes, don't go away. Yes. Okay, good point. Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, his point was, well, what if, going back to my idea of not buying computers, and the vote is no. Unless the motion was not to buy 3 computers. Unless you say, we take a stand to do something. These are 2 different motions, okay? Either not to buy 3 computers, or not to take a stand on AB 123. You know, it's a negative. If you have a negative, then you have to adhere to it. But if you say, buy 3 computers, and the answer is no, you can bring that one back up again. It can always come back. Let me ask him. Mr. Justice, let me ask a couple of other folks, okay? Go ahead, sir. Uh-huh. His point was, what can associate present an accommodation? Yes. Notice how he's not being neutral in doing that. Unless the bylaw tells him he has the power to do it, he shouldn't. It's none of his business. He shouldn't be doing that. He can get somebody else to do it. Don't go away. I've got several questions. I don't want to ignore anybody. I'll come right back to you. Do you have a question? Yes? How do you make it so that an item doesn't come back? You cannot. You hear that? Let me say it again. You cannot prevent an item from coming back the next month. If it was defeated one month, it cannot come back the next one. You cannot stop it from coming back. You cannot stop it from coming back. There was another hand right in here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, assuming that they'll do the right thing. They'll get it agendized. But, yeah. Again, that's internal. Every college does something different. If you can read through your bylaws and understand it, then you spend more time than I could. Yeah, I have trouble because I couldn't see details like that. And that has to be clarified on the next revision. But judging by what he said, if the motion is buy 3 computers, gets defeated, next month he can bring it back, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, except don't second it, and don't agendize it. There was another Did you have another question? Yes, please.
Back to these abstentions, with all your experience, I've worked with cities, and I've never heard of such a thing. Back to abstentions, what's happening here, and with your experience, has it done in other colleges? All the abstentions go to the prevailing.
No. I know what you're going to say. No, no. I know what you're going to say. Let me answer that. Okay. Here's the difference between voting, getting a majority of the vote, and getting a majority of the members. There's a difference. If you look at your bylaws, next to the word 2/3 or next to the word majority, next to either word, you will see the word vote. That doesn't mean the warm bodies. Say if you got 19 members, it doesn't mean majority of 19. It just says majority of those who voted. So if only 7 of the 19 voted, then it's a majority of the 7. Now going back to what the question was. The question was, what if you are abstaining? Does that count as a negative? Or does it?
Well, in this case, if you've got a negative, positive, and the yays are the minimal, but there are a majority of the abstentions, well, because the nays are the majority, all those who decided not to take a stand,
Okay.
all that went to the majority of nays, so it was the
Okay.
item was voted down.
Okay. Everything was right except when you get to the point where the abstains went somewhere. The negative remains negative. The positive remains negative. We do the math on that.
Right.
If the abstains are not included, we don't add them on either side of the equation. The abstains are left out. So let's say we have 6 of you, and she abstains. 3 of you vote yes, 2 vote no. Her abstain is not added to the 3. Her abstain is not added to the 2. We just don't count her and only consider you. But if it says a majority of the members, now we're stuck. If you're 6 in that council, and it says majority of the members, now we're going to have to get 4. Regardless of what happens, we have to get 4 yeses, because we have to get a majority of the 6, as long as we have them filled. Whether she votes or not, it doesn't make a difference. Were you going to add something else, ma'am? No, you never consider the abstention. The only time it has any impact is when it says majority or 2/3 of the members. Yeah. Okay, but tell me what your reading is. Are you saying majority of vote or majority of members? Or what? Votes. We don't care about abstains. It has no effect.
And so they cannot be included into whoever is.
Yeah. She is not awarded to either one. She's not counted with anyone. The math is right here, not her. If it's, yeah, that's either way, that's all. But if we said, if the rule says majority of the members, now she's part of the math. Whether she votes or not, we've got 6, and now we got to get a majority of 6, whether she votes or not. Even if she's absent, as long as her position is filled, we have to count her, even though she's not there. So now in this case, if she abstains, you're right. She will be equivalent to a no, because she's not helping the yeses. Not because it's counted over. It's never awarded to anybody. Was there another comment? Yes, please, sir. Yes? Okay. Were you looking at both items from the bylaws, or one in the bylaws and one in the Constitution? The answer is very direct. What is the answer? Constitution. Remember the hierarchy? Constitution's higher. Anything the bylaw says, it better not conflict with the Constitution, because the Constitution will nullify it. Any comments on that? Okay. Was that a comment? I'm moving on. Let's move on to page 9. No. Yes, page 9. Let's go to the amendments. Of all the motions that you do, probably the most important one, the most productive, the one that helps you the most is amendment. The amendment. There's 3 kinds of amendments. You can add something, you can remove it, or you can remove something and add something. Those are the 3 forms. Add, remove and add. 3, okay? So, look at the box on top, page 9. Let's say the motion was move that membership not be restricted on the basis of race and religion. And you want to add another item. So you think, oh, I really want to include age. So you say, I move to amend by inserting age. And then you say where? After the word religion. See, you've told the group what you want to do. So that when it's amended, when it's adopted, then it will read, I move that the membership not be restricted on the basis of race, religion, and age. You see what happened. Think of a motion as a series of bricks. Every word is a brick. You can insert new bricks at the end or in the middle. You just have to say what brick and where between what bricks. You have to say where they go. You have to specify. You do not have the right to take a motion, rephrase it, reword it, make it sound prettier, and say, I want to amend it. No, you can't do that. That's not amending. That's completely substitution. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask one of you to be the chair, another one of you, see the bottom section. One is going to be the chair, one is going to be the second, that's the Z, and then another one's going to be letter A, and one's going to be letter B. Letter A will make a motion, letter B will move to amend. So let me walk you through it very, very slowly, so I make sure that we agree. I'm going to ask someone to be A. May I ask you to be A? Okay, so what he's going to do is to make a motion. Okay, you're going to, every time you see the Z on the bottom part, you yell second. No one writes down his name, okay? No one write it down. He's A, he makes the motion. The gentleman who doesn't want to look at me, you're going to be the chair. You're the chair, okay? Remember how we talked about chair. So he's looking to be recognized. What is your name? Luis. Okay, Luis. He's looking to be recognized. You recognize him. He says, I move that. He's going to second it. And now you're going to say, it is moved and seconded to, you repeat what he said, okay? And then you say, is there any question? Are you ready for the question? You see the dialogue. It's incomplete because I expect you to come up with a missing part. As soon as that happens, now, that was A, and now the lady looking away from me there, yes, hello. The lady, you're going to be B. You need to listen to A's motion. So you're going to say, as you can see on B, I moved, get recognized and say, I moved to amend by by inserting. Then you're going to come up with a word that will fit in his logical and most industrious motion. And again, you will second. And now, Luis, you have to say, it is moved and seconded to amend by inserting, and it's all there. See with CH, chair. And then you take the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, raise your hand. Now you have to tell us who won. You have to say the ayes have it, the affirmative has it, the yes have it, or the motion is adopted. You have to tell us if it's adopted or not. And then you can say, now we're going to go back to the main motion. Because all we did was work on the amendment. We have processed it and voted. Then we go back to the regular motion. Okay? We're going to do this 3 times, 3 different steps. First one is always the awkward one. Very good. Please get recognized. Luis, you ready? Okay.
I move that we, the ASCC allocate $50,000 to buy me a new car.
Is that a conflict of interest? So we had a second. Okay, you're next, Luis.
It is moved.
What?
It is moved and seconded to amend by.
No. Just the motion, what he said.
It is moved to vote.
See how it's difficult to be the chair, but when you do it over and over, it becomes second nature. Go ahead. Give it to him again, please.
I move to allocate $50,000 to buy me a new car.
It was moved.
It is, right now, it is.
It is moved to buy.
It is moved and seconded.
It's moved and seconded to for $15,000 for a car.
That's right. And now the next line, read the next line. Are you ready for the question?
Are you ready for?
Okay, let's say we had a lot of discussion. And so we're going on, and what is your name? Your name is Stephanie. Seven. Never heard that. Stephanie, be recognized, get recognized. Luis, pay attention. Look, she's going to throw something at you.
I recognize Stephanie.
Okay? What? He said 50,000, but you have to insert something. You can't take anything out. This page is only inserting. So you have to insert a word on what he said. insert, what? As long as, what? As long as he has 12 units, okay. Second. Now you have to repeat what Stephanie said.
It is moved and seconded to amend by inserting, as long as he has 12 units.
Okay, and then you ask.
Are you ready for the
Very good. No debate, continue. You're going to take the vote now.
The motion before you is to amend by inserting, if he has 12 units, to
Okay.
the motion, which
Yes.
is, to award $12,000.
Very good, very good, very good. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
All in favor?
Do what?
All
Do what?
all in favor to adopt the motion,
Do what? Do what?
raise your hand.
Thank you very much. Okay, so they did. Go on.
All opposed,
Do what? Do what?
raise your hand.
Thank you.
The ayes have it.
Okay.
The motion to amend by inserting, as long as he has 12 units, is passed.
Oh, you're too kind, but go ahead. I thought it was the other way. Go ahead, and then we're back to the motion. We're back to the main motion.
The motion is,
No, just read the last two lines. Uh-huh.
we're back to the main motion as amended.
And read the last one.
Are you ready for
Very good. Now we will continue discussing it. Any question on this? Let's do it one more time. One more time. Fellow in the white shirt, what is your name? Ugo? Ugo, okay. Ugo, you be the chair, okay? Be the chair. And the lady in red in the back, hello. Will you be the A? A, will you be A? And the lady in front of her, B, will you be B? Okay, you're still second. Okay, still second. Okay. It's the same thing we did right now. Okay, so what is your name? What did she say? Jalisa? Jalisa. Okay, Jalisa is going to be recognized. Ugo, here we go. Ooh. Yeah. Go ahead and help her out. It's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot. Yeah. Okay. What? Your part. It is moved and seconded, and repeat what she said. For a trip to where? Texas. Oh, okay. I'm from Texas. Sounds good to me. So read the next part. It says, "Are you ready for the question, Ugo?" Very good. So we move on, and here comes. What is her name? What is your name? Kenzie. We already have an amount. Are you going to give her two amounts? Oh. See, but what you're doing there is you're striking her number and inserting a new one. So that's form number 3. We're still on form number 1. You need to add something without taking anything out. Do you see the problem we're having? We need to look at every motion as a series of bricks. Now look at those bricks and think, what new brick can I add? You want to help her out? Yeah. Can everybody hear, please? Can everybody hear, please?
I move to amend that we insert San Antonio before Texas.
Very good. Notice, all he did was take all the series of bricks. He came across the part where it says Texas. He put a new brick right before it and says San Antonio. That's amending by inserting. What you wanted to do was take something out, put something in there. That's a different form. Or other people, what they wanted to do is reshuffle the whole thing and just reword it. That's not amending. Okay, so Ugo, can you continue with the amending? It is moved and seconded, yes.
It is moved and seconded to amend by inserting San Antonio
Before Texas, just before. Very good. Are you ready for the question? Continue.
Are you ready for
Very good. Now, Chair, you continue, Ugo. You continue, Ugo. The motion before you is.
the motion before you is to amend by inserting, allocating $100,000.
No, we're only talking about the amending, right? Only about the amending. We haven't voted on it.
The motion before you is to amend by inserting
For Texas. Take the vote.
well,
Yeah, it's right there. It's all there. It's, yeah.
all in
Okay, very good. The next one? Very good. Now give us a result. Yeah, the who has it? Defeated or not? Give us a result. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And let's stop there.